My first feature film just made it onto Amazon Prime, and while that's super exciting, I made some really dumb mistakes when it came to distribution. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. There are tons of videos out there on self-distribution, but I wanted to share my personal experience and hopefully help you avoid making the same mistakes that I did. So I finished my first feature film a little over a year ago. We made it on a budget of $7,000 and shot the whole thing in just 8 days. It was hectic and stressful and honestly one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. If you want to hear more about the actual filmmaking process, I made a video previously that kind of dives deeper into how we pulled it all off. But once the premiere and everything with my film was all wrapped up, I started looking into self-distribution. I'd spent a few years casually researching self-distribution, and one company that kept popping up was FilmHub. And from what I'd seen online, FilmHub seemed pretty straightforward. It's a free film and TV distribution platform. So you upload your movie, artwork, credits, and all your deliverables, and then they pitch your film to different distribution and streaming platforms. So I figured I'd give it a go. I mean, can't beat free. I created an account and started uploading my movie. While this was uploading, I was doing some research and read that FilmHub, they take H.264, H.265 files, but they prefer Apple ProRes. My film was H.264, which was fine. I would just make another export and upload that. So exported Apple ProRes version and uploaded that to the website. This is where I made my biggest mistake. I didn't properly check my final export. I technically did, but let me explain. So my PC struggles really badly with ProRes files. They lag and glitch and just barely play. So instead of carefully scrubbing through the entire film, I just uploaded straight to FilmHub's website. And once it was finished uploading, I then scrubbed through the timeline that was on FilmHub and everything looked good, thought it sounded good. But it wasn't good. But I'll come back to that in a second. So the final step before I submitted was to create captions. And I had read online that FilmHub is pretty particular when it comes to captions. So rather than spending all the time creating my own and risking the chance of getting rejected, I figured I would just pay for FilmHub to create my captions. I know it'll pass their QC and just one less thing to worry about. Downside is that captions are $300, but I figured this is the only thing I'm gonna have to pay for. It's fine. I have the peace of mind. Let's just do it. So I did. They were created in a few days. And yeah, I submitted my film for QC. So once you submit your film, it goes through quality control. And one important thing to note is that after you submit your film, it's not editable anymore. So I sat back and I waited. I checked the QC status basically every week and there were no updates for a long time. I read that they offered a premium QC option that speeds up the whole process, but that was another $500. So I wasn't really interested. I figured I would just wait. However long it takes, whatever. I just didn't want to pay an extra $500. While I was waiting, I did a little bit more research on what premium QC entailed. I found out that FilmHub's premium channel partners include Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Tubi, some of the bigger names. In order to get your film even pitched to these platforms, your film has to have a premium QC. In other words, I had to pay $500 if I wanted a chance to get on these platforms. That was pretty frustrating to learn, but then I got an email from FilmHub. They reached out to me directly and said they thought my film would be a pretty good match for their premium partners. The only requirement is, of course, to have premium QC, but they offered to front the cost and recoup it from future earnings that my film made. And honestly, that sounded great. I was excited, so I agreed. So about a week later, my film passed QC and it started to get pitched to streaming platforms. One thing that I thought was strange was FilmHub created completely new artwork for my movie. almost all the original artwork that I uploaded had been changed. They re-edited my poster and changed almost all of my artwork to a new image. This is actually the image that they changed it to, which is fine. I mean, I think it looks good, but it's just kind of interesting that they didn't tell me they were gonna do that. They just did it. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but that's kind of weird, right? Anyway, over the next month, my film slowly started to get picked up by different streaming services. A lot of them I hadn't really heard about, but then one day I woke up, I checked my phone, and there it was. Amazon Prime had licensed my movie. I was so hyped. This was literally one of my goals since before even starting production on this movie. I don't know, I always just thought it would be so surreal to see my movie on Amazon Prime, and there it was. I started sharing the news with friends and family. I was planning social media posts, just getting ready to like really share the word. And then I got a text from my girlfriend. She had started watching the movie on Amazon, and she sent me a picture with a caption that said, "Is this supposed to be here?" My heart dropped. The image showed black and red bars covering the whole screen. I rushed home, opened the file I submitted to FilmHub, and sure enough, there it was. One of the shots had corrupted during the ProRes export, creating a massive visual error. And somehow, I completely missed it. I immediately contacted FilmHub support and explained the whole situation. And after a few weeks of back and forth emails, they explained the costs of replacing the file. Changing and QCing a new deliverable costs $499 per title. Then redelivering the updated file to each streaming platform would cost $349 per platform. At that point, my film had been live on 5 platforms, so that meant in total, redelivering my film would cost me $2,194. However, they did suggest that I just sign up for their Plus membership, which comes with a handful of title updates and redeliveries, and the cost of that is $1,000. I also looked into just completely pulling my film from all of these streaming platforms and just maybe trying out a different aggregator or distributor, but takedowns cost $200 per distribution platform. So that would have cost me $1,000. So at that point, might as well just get the Plus membership and get it fixed, you know? It was incredibly frustrating. I was mad at myself for just missing the air, making such a dumb mistake, but I was also just upset with FilmHub that my film passed their premium QC and they missed such an obvious error, which I did bring that up when I was emailing their support team, and they pretty much just said that there's nothing they could do. And at that point, I didn't know what to do. The corrupted shot only lasts 2 seconds, and the rest of the movie's fine. Was it really worth spending $1,000 just to fix that one moment?
I had to pay $1,000
to re-upload my film.
and you are gonna pay me back.
That's what I should have said to FilmHub right there. I had already paid FilmHub $800 for caption creation and the premium QC. Even though premium QC wasn't directly out of my pocket, I still owe them the $500. So I'm already $800 in the hole on a platform that I thought was just going to be completely free. So I could either spend another $1,000 to get this error fixed, or I could just accept it as a painful lesson and save my money and put it towards the next one. And honestly, I think that's the better choice. As much as it bothers me knowing that there's a technical error in the film, it's still watchable, and at the end of the day, I'm just happy that the movie is out there. But moving forward, I'll definitely explore different distribution platforms in the future. I've heard pretty good things about indie rights, from what I understand, it's completely free except for the cost that you have to pay to ship your film into them, which is really interesting that they don't do online submissions. You have to physically mail your film into them as of today. That might change in the future. But yeah, it seems like they really care about their filmmakers, and they promote your movie as their own if it gets accepted by them. That means they market your movie. They have a YouTube channel that pulls in a lot of views. So if they end up posting your movie on their YouTube channel, then that's a great way to get eyes on your film. But with all that being said, the industry is constantly changing, and this next film I'm working on probably won't be finished for at least a couple of years. So who knows, everything could be completely different by the time we reach the finish line. But if you have a finished film right now and you're looking to self-distribute, I would highly recommend weighing out all your options. Definitely do your research and check your deliverables. With all that said, I would still absolutely love for you guys to check out my movie. Hopefully you can overlook the 2-second error and still enjoy it for what it is. It's been an insane journey getting to this point, and yeah, like I said, I'm just so happy that the film is finally out there and that you guys can watch it. I'd love to hear your experience with self-distribution in the comments, and if you have any questions, leave those as well, and I'll answer all that I can. I've also been writing a new script with some friends, and we're getting pretty close to finishing it. So expect a video soon covering the whole script writing process. I'm very excited for this one. But until then, good luck with your movies and keep on creating.